Good morning, my friends. Welcome back. Oh, happy Friday. It's the end of the week. Isn't that fantastic? I'm really ready for the end of this week, but as I'm recording this, it is only Thursday. Um, I'm so ready for the end of the week. But good news, here in New Zealand, tomorrow is a public holiday. So hubby will be home and I'm looking forward to a relaxing day. I'm probably not going to be on top of my game this morning. I had a horrendous night, not sleeping, so there was a good solid 4 hours where I did not see a wink of sleep between 11 and at least 3 a.m. I'm not sure exactly when I fell asleep after 3 a.m., but so it was at least 4 good hours, or bad hours, of not sleeping. I've got scratchy, gritty, horrible, sore eye. I'm obviously tired. But however, we are going to craft and that's going to make everything all better. So today's project, we are working on mini ephemera for ideas to use those teeny tiny little images out of books or magazines or even stamps. Today's project is one I haven't done since I used to have my little bricks and mortar shop. And I used to sell these little mini books only for a few dollars each. They weren't expensive because, you know, they're teeny tiny. But I thought this is a perfect project for those types of images. So first off, I'm going to cut myself a tag to use as a base. Now I'm using my punch just because it's convenient, it's quick, it's easy. But you know, you don't need to. I'm just going to make sure I get this the right way up because the picture's this way, but the punch actually punches this way. So I just want to make sure I get my little bird cages here in the right direction because I don't think it will make sense to have them sideways if I don't need to. And this is thick paper. So I'm just using that as my wee tag base. I think it should be big enough. I think so. I haven't actually run this because the project is the little books, but I thought, well, okay, little book, but then how do you use it in a journal? So this is kind of what I was thinking for how we would use it in a journal. I've got a few other ideas as well. And then I want to put a little pocket on our wee tag. So actually, if I flip it over and make a pencil line, that's probably a little bit easier. Go about there. Hopefully this works. If it doesn't, well, you'll get the idea anyway. Just going to cut that whole strip because I can't be bothered trying to do a partial cut. And then we need, I might just fold down the top to make it a little bit reinforced. And then we want I need to allow for the glue line so it won't be quite as deep as what I cut it because by the time we add the glue it's going to be smaller. I'm having a kind of a feeling that I should be working some gussets into this, but I've already cut my strip, so I'm just going to wing it. If it doesn't work out, then just learn from my mistake and add gussets if you're doing something this small. The tag, I mean. Okay, so let's glue this on. I want it to be able to dry before we need to put something in the pocket, put the wee mini book in the pocket. That's my plan. I'm not going to do a thumb notch because it's only a teeny tiny wee pocket for a teeny tiny wee book. Okay, that's that. Let's ink it before I glue it down. And it's cold this morning. I am struggling to warm up because there was a good frost this morning and it's still a little white out there. And it just, I think partly too because I'm just so tired. And I've got to go out today at lunchtime for a lunch and a meeting. I don't want to, like, I want to be at the meeting and I want to know the information and help, but I would just really prefer to get my videos done and then veg out for the rest of the day. But I can't do that. I have not got that luxury today. I should have inked the sides because I've left a border around the sides that doesn't go right to the edge of the tag, and maybe I should have done it right to the edge, but it's too late now unless I start again. But so hopefully that glue doesn't dry while I'm doing this. I even left the lid off my ink pad so I would actually ink it before I stuck it on, and then I went and put glue on. See, my brain's just not kind of switched on right now, I don't think. And yes, I know there's nothing terribly abnormal about that, is there? That's just the way things rock around here. Right, so we've done a little tag with a little tiny cute little pocket, and that can be decorated, but I'm not going to worry about that at the moment because we need to get on to the actual main part of the project, which is the mini books. I'm probably only going to do one. So I've got some scraps of beetroot dyed paper here. I often will use different types of paper. I'm just going to make it easy on myself. I'm doing just the single paper today. And we need to cut 3 strips at 3 inches by 1 inch. So can you start to see a little on the sizing of this project? So will I go 3 inches first? Let's go 3 inches first. I probably only actually need one of these. I'll probably get 3 out of this maybe. And then 1 inch. Now you can make them bigger if you like. You don't have to make them this mini. But I am making them this mini. You can alter the dimensions, like these will be slightly rectangular, or they will be rectangular. You can make them square. I think the ones I used to make were square, but today I just wanted to make more rectangle shape. Right, so 3 strips of whatever paper you like. Great for using up scraps of whatever you've got handy. Don't go too thick. You don't want anything that's too thick because this is tiny, remember. So I'm going to fold them in half. So we're going to end up with a little book that's 1 inch by 1.5 inches. So super tiny, and your images that you need for this are really tiny. So they need to be no taller than 1 inch and no wider than 1.5 inches. Or if you want to do a vertical little sort of top opening book, then 1.5 tall and 1 wide. So depending which orientation you want to go with. Or images that you can cut a piece off without kind of losing the beauty of the image or the message or the importance of it, whatever. Okay, so we have 3 little pages that are going to fit together like so as a little book. And if you don't like them pushing out, because you know when you stack pages they do stagger out a little bit at the edge, you can always trim them up. But before I bind these, I am going to do a little bit of stamping, which is not something I used to do on them, but I just feel like it's a bit of fun, so I'm going to do it. And because often I will use scrapbook paper which has a pattern or something on it, and this has just got a little bit of stenciling and otherwise it's plain. So I'm just going to pop them on my glue pages here for some stamping. I'm wondering, do I want to use grey? I think I might use grey, and I'm just going to use any sort of texture or interest stamp. I think I might use these postage ones. just to create some background interest. So you don't have to stamp if you don't want to stamp in the background. If you're using patterned papers, you can skip this step. Go with this one. Block might be handy. Yeah, I just feel like disconnected. I know what I'm doing here and I know what I want to do, and that's all fine, but the actual one foot in front of the other process, I'm like, I'm struggling and I don't like it, but we will get there. Let's do it the right way up maybe, and if I line those up I can stamp over both maybe. So I just want, oops, you know, just bits here and there to add some interest. Maybe do a vertical one over here. And I don't want them to be all the same, so we'll change out our stamp. Maybe go for a round one. Or a square one. I haven't used the square one. Let's use the square one. So that's Golden Gate, the one I used. This one is Sydney, Australia. Not that it matters. It's just interesting, I think. So I'm deliberately not going straight. I'm just like being interesting, and going to do both sides. So don't forget to switch it over and do some on both sides if you are stamping. Okay, let's go for a round one. Let's do this one just because this one is Friedrichshafen, wherever that is. Somewhere in the world. Okay, switch them over again, add some circle ones to this side. Oops, get it up the right way. Oops, I just got a little bit, so let's do that a bit better. They moved on me, so just stamp over a bit that mark. Okay, so get the idea, just little bits, some of which will be covered up, and if it all gets covered up, no issues either. Okay, so we have our bases ready, so let's choose out a front cover. I think maybe that one. Those are all in there. Now I like to sew these with some embroidery thread. You could easily just put a staple in, one staple and you're done, but I just really like adding the thread. It's a little bit more you know, added something. I don't know what I'm trying to say even. I'm sure you get what I'm not able to say. I'm not sure if this is actually going to be long enough to work with. I think I'll just go 2 strands. Is that going to be an absolute nightmare? That's going to be an absolute nightmare. That's ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous, woman. Let's go for this green one here that's already separated into 2 strands. Sometimes I just make life too tough on myself. Got to grab out a thinner needle. You definitely don't want a big fat needle for this teeny tiny book. You want a nice fine one, because if you make holes too big, it's going to compromise your little book. So I think that one should be okay. Thread my little eye. I thought I might have had trouble then since I've got a really scratchy, horrible eye, but no, we're all good. And I'm just going to eyeball, and I'm just going to use the needle to punch the holes because we've only got 3 little bits of paper. It's not hard. And I am going to go from the outside. Just 2 holes. We are only going to do 2 holes. So in there, back through to the outside, just eyeballing those that I'm on the line. Pull it through a little bit. I don't need it quite that long. That should be okay. I'm not going to take it. Ah, yes, I will take it off the needle. I don't need it on the needle. Oops. Make sure your pages all sit together. And I'm just simply going to tie a knot and then tie a bow. So I'll do a double knot so it doesn't come undone. Oops. So a little bit fiddly, these teeny tiny things, and my fingers are a bit older than when I used to make these, but don't need to rush it. Just fiddle until you get it. Now the hard part is getting it tight while you pull the next knot. That's why I liked waxed thread, because waxed thread holds itself together until you can make the second knot, whereas this doesn't. It just comes loose as soon as you let go of it. That's why double knot and then do a wee bow. Whoops, wee bow, dear, wee bow. That's a bit big. Wee bow, cute. And trim the end there, and then I've got another bit for another book. So we've got this cute little, already, you know, looking pretty cute. But now we get to decorate it with our teeny tiny images. So front cover I'm going to leave for now. I'm going to open it up. And I've pre-cut a bunch of images out of that children's illustrated dictionary. I think it's dictionary that we were working from last Friday. That are the right size. All of these fall within the dimensions of no higher than 1 inch, apart from one, and I wanted one that was slightly bigger just so I could show you how you can still use it without losing its integrity. Often I will theme these and do, like, say maybe garden or whatever, and do each page with a related image. Today I've just gone with a random bunch that I thought would still work together. I didn't know how many I needed because my brain just wouldn't calculate that. I'm just putting my needle away so I don't end up with it in a foot or a finger or something. A sip of my coffee because I really need coffee today. So I'm just going to start with this image here of a book, which was the first one I actually cut out. So I spared you the process of me fussy cutting them all out. So I'm just going to glue that on. I'm not going to ink around these images, not even the ones where I've left some white on, because the white was deliberate. I fussy cut according to what the image is, in terms of if there's any fine little details that would be compromised if I truly fussy cut it, then I do a kiss cut, like this telephone with the telephone wires. I'm not going to try and cut those wires out, so I did a kiss cut. Most of these I did a fussy cut because they were, you know, good solid outlines. So there's our book, and you can see the bits of stamping just popping out, just adding interest in the background, which is perfect. And then I like to pair a picture with a word or a phrase or something. So we also need words either from a magazine, you know, little words. Sometimes you find little words and you think, well, I won't use those because they're too little. Or you could type them out on a bit of paper and cut them out and use typewritten words. And what I'm using today is stamps. So you've got options, or you could print them off on the computer as well, you know, similar to a typewriter, isn't it? So I am just going to use, and I like using just positive words, you know, nice, happy, encouraging, fun words. Now I think I will stamp with coffee. I don't want to go black because the black is definitely going to soak through the paper, and it may or may not end up being covered by a picture. So I don't want bits of words popping out from behind my pictures. But if that happens, we can remedy that as well. So I'm kind of like, I hope it happens so I can show you what to do. But if it doesn't, never mind. So I want to stamp on this side. Grab my coffee ink, my stamping block, and choosing some words. So this is this stamp here says my favorite. This is Rosie's Studio stamp set, I believe. So let's kind of using the grid underneath to center it because I want to add. So, and this one is inspiration, so it's going to be my favorite inspiration. I want to try and center the two words. I mean, I could just stamp them individually, and normally I would, but that's not centered, dear. Not even. Now that's too far the other way. Right, if this is not centered, it's tough. It's going to be where it goes. So I'm just going to do a test to make sure it fits, and yes, it fits. So I'm just going to flick that binding, make sure it doesn't create a lump. Now you could stamp on separate bit of paper, cut it out, and then glue it on. My favorite inspiration. See, it would be relatively plain if I hadn't have done that little bit of stamping in the background. Does make a little difference. Okay, so I'll just put these away because they're very little stamps, so I'm prone to misplacing them if I don't just put them back on their sleeve. There. Okay, don't think I'll be using that one again, but I'll put it aside just in case. Right, so page 1 is done. Right, and I also like to sometimes vary the placement of the images, so left, right, left, right, left, right, just for variety and interest. So I've got this wee image here of some playing cards, which I think is cute. So let's do that one. And there's no real theme to this one. There is no theme at all. There's no overall message. It's just a fun little book to tuck in a journal that's just nice, you know. It's not meant for writing space. It's just a nice little bit. When I made these for my shop, I used to do some custom orders of them as well and tailor them to somebody. If they wanted a particular theme or message in them, then I would custom make them as well. Right. Shall we have... This is Vintage Finds from Teresa Collins. This is a great little set, this one. Relatively new in my selection. Where did I put my block? There it is. Okay, so what do I want? Timeless moments. I like pairing these two words together. So again, I'm going to try my best to line them up here. And they are teeny tiny wee stamps. Kind of a typewriter font. And these are the same width, so it shouldn't be too hard to line up. Trying to get them straight as well. So back into the coffee. So your words that you choose can be the binding theme if you like, and then you just use whatever images you've got or that you like. Timeless moments. And you can vary the colour of your stamping too as well. Oops, leaving my lid off my glue, that's not great. Had a heck of a trouble unclogging one of my glue bottles yesterday. I keep poking it with a pin and it just wouldn't come out, and I had to take the lid off and go in from underneath, and like the pin went in easy enough, and it was like, why aren't you coming out? Eventually I got it. It took like 4 or 5 goes till I got the glue flowing. Sometimes things are just bizarre, like really they are. So how many images do we need? So you could even put images on both sides if you wanted, if you just wanted images. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you need 5 images plus something for the front cover. So now that I've been able to visualize that and see, I can say you need, say, 6 images. Okay, let's deal with the one that's too big so that you can have an idea of what to do with it. So this little pot plant doesn't fit on the page. It's too tall. Some images, if they're too tall, may actually work sideways depending what it is. Like it may originally be vertically oriented, but if it's, I can't think of an example, but sometimes you can turn it sideways and it looks fine. This I would not want to turn sideways, and it would actually still be too wide anyway. So this one, I can just trim off the bottom of the flower pot, and it's not going to matter. You'll still see that the flowers are in a pot. So just need to make sure that I cut enough off. So I need to go, the top part, I need to go above that. So I'm just going to eyeball it here. So we're losing a bit of the flower pot. And which side of the page am I going on? I'm going on this side. And it's still going to look super cute. And you can still totally tell what it is. So, you know, if your images, if you find an image you want to use and it's slightly too big, just think about how you can treat it a little bit differently to make it work. If you have a bunch of images that are like 2 inches by 2 inches, then just make your book 2 inches by 2.5 inches or something. You know, just customize it. Make it work for you, for what you've got in your stash. Oh, that's pretty. Love that. And I love that with the green string too, or the green thread. Right, words for this one. Will that fit? I'll have to take it out of here, so see if I can make it fit. This one is Crafter's Corner stamp set. Yep, it will fit. You're one of a kind. I'll put the lid on my glue, gee. Get thinking, brain. This time I don't have to worry about lining up the words because it's all on one stamp. Done. Easy peasy. So hunting through your stamp sets, if you want to use stamps to find ones that fit, is, you know, part of your prep work. Or just grabbing out likely ones and then saying, well, that will fit as well, that one there, so we might use that one. So that's another page done. Okay, here, what do we want? There's these keys which are Kiss Cat. Maybe we could use May All Your Dreams Come True, but I don't want to put the same text next to each other. So I'm going to skip a page. So that's going to be an image here, so an image here. So I'm going to put the keys right there. And with the glue, you could glue stick these. I'm just not in the mood for that today. I did grab out a new glue stick because my other one's just about out, and here I am not using it, but that's okay. I'll be all set when I do want to use it. Right, so I'm going to put May All Your Dreams Come True on this last page here. You can also put something on the back if you like, or you can put a little handmade by piece. Put the stamp on the ink, not the ink pad on your paper. That's usually how you stamp, is put your stamp on the ink pad, not your ink pad on the paper, unless you want to create background colour. So there we go, there's that one. Sometimes these acetate backings are annoying because they won't go back on properly. Little tip too, I keep my stamps mostly in the packaging that they come in because I feel it protects them. But when I put them in, I put them in upside down to the packaging, and then I store them that way so that the sticky bits at the top, because for ages I was doing them the right way up in my box, and then they would slide down, and then this would get caught, and then they'd end up all damaged. So now I just flip them, put the stamp in upside down, and then store it upside down so I'm not damaging that strip. And mostly it works for me. Some of these packages do end up ripping, and then I put them in a different bag, but until they do, I just keep them in these. Right, that was just a random aside. Right, so let's go back and do this page. So we've got birds, suitcase, a little teapot, some apples. Apples are cute, aren't they? What words? I'm now sort of trying to pair the words with the I think this one, all the hugs. What's that got to do with apples? No idea. Well, they say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Well, I reckon it should. A hug a day keeps sadness at bay. I don't know. And a hug a day makes life so much better, doesn't it? And preferably more than one hug. Not everybody's a hugger, but I like to hug. Hubby likes to hug. And we like huggy people too. Not if you don't know them and they just rock on up and just give you a hug out of the blue. Not so fond of that. That's uncomfortable. But if, you know, a friend or someone you haven't been seen for a while, or a family member or something, yeah, total hugs. So I went out for lunch yesterday. It was a morning tea, but we turned it into lunch because it would have been too late to have lunch by the time we got back home. This is with my mum. Where'd my apples go? Hello, apples. Apples. I've lost my apples. Who ate my apples? Come on, fess up. Who ate them? Oh, there we go. It's stuck to the acetate. Static electricity. That's what that would have been. So let's glue that on so I don't accidentally stamp the wrong side. Not that it would overly matter. Like, let's be real, it wouldn't matter. Yeah, so we were out yesterday and it was very nice. I had a little, about muffin size salmon frittata, which was quite yummy. And it was a ladies group meeting from my mum's church, but my stepfather goes to it because he drives my mum there. So that's fine. He was the only man there out of all of us women. And there was how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of us, I think, including me. And I'd never met any of the others before. So I only knew my mum and her husband, of course. But anyway, one of the other ladies on the way out kind of was like, your surname. And so I confirmed my surname for her, and she's like, so you married? And so I filled in the gap. Yeah. And she says, yeah, my daughter married your husband's cousin. So random. So random. And so I was like, which son? Because which of the cousins? Because there's 3 cousins in that particular family. And she confirmed which one it was. And I says, oh, so your daughter's... And I took a guess that I was getting the right name, and I got it right, Catherine. I got the name right, so that was good. I didn't feel embarrassed because I got the name wrong. Yeah, so we had a wee chat at the end because, yeah, I've never met her before, and she's, you know, it's a small world sometimes, really small world. I don't know why I'm telling you all that, except that it was just kind of one of those funny moments where there's a connection there that you never knew. But she knew. She had put it together because she's friends with, obviously with my husband's auntie, the mum of the boy who married her daughter. So there we go. Big long story about something that you probably don't care about. But it was fresh in my mind. So, right, so all the hugs. So we have a little book. Do I want to do anything on the back? I think I am going to do a little... I'm going to use biro because I don't want pen bleed through, because that would just ruin it. Now, if you do get bleed through from stamps, if you're stamping directly onto your page, before you glue down your image, you can come in with just a little bit of book page and layer it up so it hides that. So, you know, if it happens, it's not the end of the world. Just cover it up with a bit of book page or sheet music or something, and then put your image on top. So maybe save your images for last in case that happens. You know, do your stamp and then on the opposite side, and then cover it over. If you do that, then you'll need to put the image on the back of the stamped page, unless you stamp the words on a separate bit of page and then layer that up on top of your book page. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, my friends. In my head, I think it does, but I'm not sure that it came out of my mouth correctly. So hit me up in comments if you're confused. I may have confused everybody, including myself. But let's push on. So I'm going to put here on the back just a little handmade by, and I'm just going to put my first name, handmade by Belinda. And now we're just left with the front of our book. Now you can distress around the edges. I don't think I'm going to worry about it. Certainly not on camera anyway. This is going to be interesting to photograph for the thumbnail, isn't it? Maybe I'll do it with the tag. Now, where did I put the tag? I'm just going to test that it's going to fit. Now, I'll probably have to do it vertical so that our little... Oh, that green was actually the right colour. I didn't even think about making sure it would match the tag. So I've got this cute little book tucked in a tag. The tag goes in a larger pocket or tuck spot. Right, so I'm just making sure I've got everything up the right way. Let's do the front. So on the front, I like to do a combination image and word. Not always, but it is quite a nice way to go. These ones have a box around it, these words, and I love the words, but sometimes wish I could have the option of not having them in the box. But I'm not going to separate them from the box, you know, cut them out, because then no. Nope. Dreams a bit, they're all a bit long. Just looking for a single word, I think. I think that's too long. Yep, that's too long. Yeah, no, I don't think those will work. While we're here, let's put this stamp back on. This is actually a sympathy set, but I actually got it because a lot of the words can be used in isolation. And there's some nice wee hearts on there as well. So like wishing you comfort, you know, it's great for sympathy, but you can just take the word comfort and put it on something. How can I help? That's good for any time, I think. The word always or there for you, I think it could be used at any time. Holding you in my heart could be used at any time. Sending love, you know, they will extend outside of just sympathy. But so sorry for your loss, definitely sympathy. Always is a bit big. Even the word wish, you know, just inking up one word out of the strip. The word love, we could do the word love. Comfort's a bit long. So far love is kind of the one that's most beneficial. Just looking at what else I've grabbed out. Just this one that I put aside. Oh, fabulous might work. Others are a bit, yeah, let's go fabulous. How fabulous is that? Okay, so there we go. I'm going to glue down my lady on there. I don't know how we're doing on time, my friends. There's a couple of videos this week where I went just a tad over time. But I figured, you know, you can always fast forward or do something else while you're watching, or watch it in segments. So I didn't worry about it. I didn't try and skim a few minutes off by editing. I thought, no, I'm sure you'll all forgive me for it. And if you don't, well, it's up to you how you watch it, you know. There's nothing that says you've got to sit down and watch a whole video all at once. Sometimes I've got to take a break and come back to a video if I just run out of time. Oops, I don't think I... I didn't stamp the S very well. Can I get just the S inked? And try and line it up. Would it be easier if I opened it out? That's the danger of stamping directly onto your piece, is if you make a mistake, it can be a little oopsie. There we go, I got it. That's slightly doubled up, but not bad at all. Still very, very readable. So we've got this wee book. So I'll lift it up because it is tiny. So tiny. We've got a little book. It says my favourite inspiration. Timeless moments. Maybe you spend timeless moments while you're playing cards with your friends or your family. Or maybe just even playing solitaire. Has a way of eating up time, doesn't it? And then our wee pot plant there. You're one of a kind. All the hugs with apples. Because, you know, good to have daily. And a bunch of keys with make all your dreams come true. It's like opening the door to possibilities. So in my mind, I automatically try and make a mini story. It's weird how my brain works. And then just a little bit on the back, handmade by. Cute, sweet little book. Now we've still got our tag here. I'm going to ink around this. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're okay. We're good. Ink around this. It is white on the back, but I think I'm just going to leave it white and ink around it. So it's, you know, still writing space on the back. I'm only using this tag punch out of convenience. Like, I've got it and I have not really made enough use of it. So just cut whatever tag size you like. This is from memory. Oh, let's remeasure it. Just 3 inches by 2. So that's an idea of what size I'm working with, but you could make it whatever. If you make your book larger, you might want to make your tag larger. I wouldn't go smaller. You could go 1 inch by 1 inch and make a little square one. Would be probably the smallest I would go. But 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch is a really good measurement as well. So just play around and see what suits you according to, like I said earlier, according to what images you're working with. Because you don't want to make it and then discover that none of your images will actually work for that size. Okay, so let's do something on the pocket here. Maybe up here as well. I'm thinking any of the images that I've already cut out, would they work? Well, we've got bird cages. Do we want to put some seagulls? I actually quite like that. I like the colours as well. But I think I want some book page. So we just need a little tiny snippet, don't we? Don't need much at all. So this is a bit of, oh, that's a bit too much. Wuthering Heights. This is from this little bit of book page. And I'm looking, oh, I was looking at the shape thinking I prefer it this way around, but then it says bad temper on that side. We don't want bad temper. But most of it will be covered, so that's okay. We can not have bad temper. And then it says cheerful here, so we still get cheerful. But there is disturbed right there, so I'm just going to whip off part of that word. So no longer is readable as disturbed. It could say distant or distal or, I don't know, anything else. Yep, let's do that. Because I just like the shape better sitting that way. Right, so still gluing that glue stick for now. I'm certainly not going to be using it up in this video. Hopefully that's in the right place. And yeah, I'll do glue stick on this image as well. Why not? Your birdies. And then I'm actually thinking about maybe just a word up the top and maybe one of these. Oh, they're too long. That wouldn't matter. We can just chop off the ends and it would just be a line above and below. Okay. But I think black. Do I want to stamp directly on? I'm just wondering if this ink will dry very quickly on this paper. No, I don't think I'm going to risk it. I think I'm going to stamp on this strip of coffee dyed paper and then glue it on. Right, so I think I will do story time. Do 2 words. I'll stamp them separately. Oops, cat fur. Well, I can stamp them together, but I'll cut them out separately, so I don't need to make sure that they're lined up at this stage. Yep, they both fit. They're not straight, that's fine. Oops, I got ink all over the block then. Okay, clean that messiness off. Just give that ink a little moment to dry. I don't want to smear it, so we'll just let it be for a moment there while I do this. Right. Okay. So now I'm going to cut them out. So I'm going to leave a little border above and below the stamped lines. Not going to worry about the ends because I'm going to have to trim those off. So I'll glue them on and then I'll trim them off. So just a really, really thin border that I'm leaving. Super quiet. Shh. She's fallen asleep. If only. Could have done with falling asleep last night. Although I fell asleep quite quickly and then I woke up an hour later and that was it for 4 hours or so. Not helpful. So we've got story time. I like this. Again, it's just the way my brain works. We've got story time and then we've got a little book tucked in the pocket. It just works for me. I don't know. It's just me. Doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to tie together. It can just be something cute and fun. But my brain just tries to connect everything. It tries to connect the dots, even when I'm lacking sleep. So just trying to center it there. I should have probably inked them, but that's all right. I haven't, so no worries. Won't matter. I'm thinking this will go in one of the journals I'm making over on Patreon. I'm working on 2 journal commissions, and I think this might be quite nice to pop in one of those. Maybe I'll make another one and put it in, so put one in each journal. I don't know. We shall see. Right, trim off those excess bits. Get them off my scissors because they're all sticky icky. And then I'll just ink those edges. Right, do I want to do a topper? So that'll go in there. So you can't quite see the story time, but it encourages you then to pull it out so you can actually read the second word. Although you can tell what it is. Do I want to put something up there? Have I got enough of the green to do something? It's a bit thin, isn't it? And too short if I turn it over. Do I have any more of that green? Oh, it's not looking hopeful actually. Was that the last bit of that green? I think it might have been. Do we want to put a different green in? We do have other greens here. I guess it wouldn't really matter, would it? Okay, so I'm going to grab 2 lengths of all 6 strands. Hopefully this works. I'm going to fold it in half, and half again, and then can I do in half again, or probably getting a bit thin. So I'm going to take out my crocodile because I don't want a huge hole at the top. And I'm not sure what size the hole. Lisa, my friend Lisa, hi Lisa, showed me where you punch the hole, because I thought it did punch a hole because it shows it there, but there's a second slot here. Now I have a feeling maybe I did know, but because I very rarely use it, I had forgotten. So you punch the tag and then you put the end of the tag in that top slot and then punch it again for the hole. But I'm not sure what size it is, so I'm not going to do that at the moment. I'm just going to grab out my crocodile and use the small hole setting on this. Because I know this hole size, and I know it's going to be a nice delicate little hole. Hopefully it actually is big enough for this, but we shall see. I am thinking maybe I should do a hole reinforcer, but I'm not going to take the time. Please don't bite me, project. So I'm just going to loop it through and then trim off those ends, and I might need to put a little bit of glue on that just so it doesn't come out. And then I'm going to take something, maybe a thicker needle will do the trick. It's not the ideal tool to use for this. It's like a little comb or something works a lot better. I'm just trying to separate the threads out and sort of make it a bit more bushy. Actually, I've never tried this. Let's give it a go. I'm going to grab 2 needles and kind of hold them kind of like that, so they're slightly apart, and then use 2, like it, making my own mini comb. That is actually working better. So there we go. Don't have a comb handy? Grab yourself a couple of good sized needles, not super thin. You want them to be a little on the chunkier side. Now I'm scratching up my mat, but that's what it's for, isn't it? It's a cutting mat. And then we've got this kind of more teased out top, maybe a little long. Let's trim it down a little bit. Always, cut it longer if you're going to tease it out than what you think you might like, because you'll probably end up with some uneven lengths or some messiness that you want to then trim off. So you can always cut it. Oops, I just stuck the needle through the thumb hole at the back. Let's fix that because I'll get it caught on stuff if I leave it like that. Do believe that's the first time I've ever done that. First time for everything. So there we go. There is today's project. So good thing I only tried to do one, because one is all I managed. So our cute little tag and our cute sweet little book using our mini images. So I really hope you like this project and that you'll give it a go. It's just fun, something you can do while you watch TV or whenever, just cute. And if you tuck it into a little pocket on a tag, or even like a wee pocket on a extra pocket on top of a pocket, or a belly band or something, and tuck a wee book in. Just super cute, super fun. And we still managed to get some writing space in there, so all good. Thanks for joining me today, my friends. Have a brilliant weekend. I hope it's happy, healthy and restful. That's what I'm hoping. Rest. Okay, I will catch you again probably tomorrow with Marguerite Miller unless I really crash or run out of time. But I expect I will find a moment to get that done today for you guys. And then I'll catch you again on Monday. See you then. Bye.